We have some breaking news we want to get to out of California. It concerns the Elizabeth Holmes trial. The verdict is in. The disgraced Theranos founder and CEO found guilty on 4 of 11 counts in her landmark Silicon Valley fraud case. The jury reaching a verdict just moments ago after 7 days of deliberations. NBC News senior business reporter Ben Popkin joins us now live. Ben, so break it down for us. It seems here the jury sided with the prosecutors in believing that Elizabeth misled investors when she was running Theranos.
Right. We're looking at a split verdict here, and we are getting 4 counts guilty, 4 counts not guilty, 3 no decision in the Holmes case. When you start to look at the pattern of what she's found guilty, not guilty on, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, only one of those she was found guilty on. Several of the counts where she was accused of defrauding investors, there was no verdict given in 3 of those. That could be a potential mistrial on those counts, which could lay the basis for a further trial on those. But she was found guilty on counts 6, 7, and 8. These were where she was defrauding investors for nearly over $100,000, including a firm connected to former Secretary of Education family office Betsy DeVos. But she was not found guilty on defrauding patients or wire fraud in connection with purchasing advertisements to promote her firm.
Ben, Elizabeth Holmes' defense here was that it wasn't her, it was sort of her underlings, other people connected with Theranos, but she wasn't guilty of these crimes. The jury obviously thought something different. What was the biggest piece of evidence here that sort of turned the case against Elizabeth Holmes? And we should mention each of these counts holds up to 20 years in prison.
One of the most blockbuster pieces of evidence was actually Holmes's words herself. There was a secret phone call, call with investors that was recorded by one of the investors. And that was one of the pieces of evidence that the jury asked in one of their few notes for it to be played. It was her making bold claims, sort of outlandish claims that cannot be supported by the evidence, where she claimed that they were going to be putting Edison's, their Theranos blood testing device, on Medivacs, that they were on track to make over $1 billion, and that they were conducting all the tests on their own equipment when, in fact, they were actually outsourcing it and putting it on third-party devices, not telling investors or patients that their real proprietary technology didn't work.
You know, Ben, explain to our viewers how strange this case is, because this is sort of a landmark case. You really do not see CEOs of tech companies get prosecuted like this.
This is quite rare. Silicon Valley being held on trial, this whole idea of fake it till you make it, the same kinds of practices that folks like Steve Jobs used to make it to the top. You know, he went on stage and held up a barely functioning iPhone, made it look like it worked, and Apple is one of the top companies in America. But when you apply it to medical technology, when you're talking about real people's health, the prosecution, the Department of Justice, and the jury coming down and saying the buck stops here, your words matter, and she's been found guilty on some of these charges.
Ben Popkin for us tonight. Ben, thank you for that.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.